Very interesting. I haven't actually had a deep conversation in a fairly long time.
Yeah, this is what happens when when you get the three people in Miss Cole's class that had really deep conversation. Oh, what the fuck! Hey, what's up, guys? This is the third episode of the Deep Dish podcast. My name is Matthew. One of those is Lance. Raise your hand.
What do you do, baby? The ladies' man.
He's over there for me. That's Kennedy, my boy. And then
Oh,
our guest today, I think he's over there, is Joshua. He's my man.
Beautiful guys.
Look at him. Look at him. He's hot. He's definitely Korean. He's not Filipino at all. Like, look at him. Ladies, he's
DMs are
single.
open.
His DMs
Oh,
are in
DMs are
fact
open
He's single,
for all of us, baby. Come on now.
but he's not ready to mingle. So his DMs are actually.
Kennedy, can you?
Oh, that's tragic.
the
Anyway.
lances are open.
Oh yeah, Lance's they're open. Kennedy's they're open. Mine, yeah, they could be open. I don't know.
They call us the ladies' man for a reason.
Ladies,
The
man.
ladies' man.
He just made that up right now.
He definitely made. No, he made it up last episode. Anyways, yeah, today we're just here with Joshua. I've known him for a long time, and I wanted to have him on the podcast because he's my boy, you know.
Happy to have you here, Josh.
So I've been watching a lot of shows recently, and I was wondering, like, when you guys get into a show, what do you think? Anime, any kind of show. What's more important, the overall plot, like the story, or the characters? Like, what do you think?
What do you think, Josh?
Um, I think the characters because like if I'd have to think about it, like if you're watching an anime, with slice of life, on paper that sounds boring, but it's the characters and personalities that make it fun.
Mhm.
So yeah, or like Demon Slayer. On paper it's just people killing demons, or yeah, like swordsmen killing demons. It's a very simple plot, but I think the characters really bring it to life. I mean, the plot is good too, but yeah, I think the characters, because you'd be living in that plot through the characters.
Yeah.
Good point.
Lance, you looked like you disagreed when he said characters.
Wait, you talking to me?
I said Lance.
Oh, me personally, I'm more of a story guy. So like, I wasn't really sure what you meant by character. I instantly thought of how they looked. So
Character design.
yeah. So me, in terms of stories, I'm more into design, right? But I do lean on plot a little bit more. As an art style, I mean.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so if it's not an art style I like, I instantly cut it off. It's not because it's like not because the story's bad, like Bleach. I know Bleach is good. But because of like its art style, I just can't find myself watching it too much.
You know, like
Really?
Bleach's
You know what I
art
mean?
style.
And
Yeah,
Really?
it's
it's
just
one of the
Bleach
reasons
looks
I want
good,
to
bro.
watch that shit, bro.
Bleach looks beautiful.
no. I mean, the place I left out like 130. I don't
Like
know. It's just
episode 130. I mean, yeah, that's because it's old. Like
That's true.
the art
Yeah.
style changes, it gets better. Yeah.
Yeah, but unless like the plot is just 10 out of 10 for me. You know what I mean? Or sometimes if you got them characters, you know what I'm saying? Where they got just a massive, they just got
Nami,
they built like One Piece. Yeah,
Robin.
he knows. He knows.
Boa.
Built like one of those. I just might be a little bit persuaded. Just a little bit.
Just a bit, just a bit. The ladies' man.
You're not wrong.
Love it.
Kennedy, what do you think?
It's actually a very interesting question because for like at first I was kind of thinking, oh, plot is like very central to the whole story and all that, but it's kind of like what you guys said, can't really drive a plot for characters. And then when you kind of think of like shows, the very first thing you gravitate towards is the characters themselves. Oh, when you think of One Piece, oh, you think of Luffy, and think of show Naruto. You don't think of its plot. You really gravitate towards. Oh yeah, that cool Naruto guy and Sasuke
Sasuke.
and yeah, I feel in terms of kind of just like shows you lean towards characters and their personalities that they their character development. You lean towards aspects of characters, and I feel secondary comes because I know like for like outsiders, really they only see the characters, but even for like people who actually watch this, um, I feel they too gravitate who they like most, who they like least.
Mhm.
That's my two.
I definitely agree with all of you. I think characters are the forefront. Like, a show like even if a show has a really good plot, if it has really bad characters, I think it's really hard to get attached to a show like that. When I think of a plot or its purpose, right? I think its purpose is to enhance the characters, right? I think the most important part of a show is the characters because it's the characters that go through the plot. Like Joshua was saying, you live through the character, or basically experiencing the plot through the characters. And I think that what makes a good show is having a plot that makes stuff happen to the characters. I think that's how it all culminates together. But yeah, like
What's like your guys' all time?
One Piece.
Orgairu,
Come on now.
Orgairu or
I'm
Bunny
not
Girl.
really a person who can pick favorites easily. Um,
Oh, he looking through the catalog. Damn, he must have watched it.
I was gonna pull it up. I have a
Sakura
list,
Soul.
Really? He
but like
actually got a catalog.
I mean, I do
I
too.
have a list, but I haven't. Yeah, that was from when I like really watched anime.
How high up there is Sakura Soul?
I don't know. A lot of these I watched when I was like a kid,
I see.
so my opinion would probably change. But the first thing that comes to mind, the first anime that comes to mind is Bleach. If
That's so
for
shitty
favorite.
on me.
All right. All
I
right.
think
Man, I'm
think
thinking about rewatch. Oh, never mind. Continue, my bad.
for me, my favorite anime. I mean, let me pull up the catalogs, but I'm pretty sure it's Money Senpai. I said that's so fucking white, and it's like it's because like the plot is very simple. It's not that extravagant, but I just think the characters are really really well written, and like they're really good at getting you attached to the characters. That's like the common thing among all of my like highly rated shows is they're all very character based. Like my favorite shonen
His favorite.
is ReZero, which is another like extremely character based show. Like because the fucking plot is I died but I'm back. It's not it's not that complex, but I think the characters are just really well written. Same with there's a bunch. I could go on and on, but yeah. But I'm not a weeb anymore, guys. Trust.
I remembered one. My favorite old anime for sure is Clannad.
Does Angel Beats count as an old anime?
I remember that now.
Angel Beats count as an old. I don't know. It came out in like maybe 2010. I don't think. So.
Oh, that's considered old. 2010.
I'm checking it.
I thought we were like talking about like the 1990s.
I know.
or
No, he's.
something.
That's why I'm asking. I guess then my favorite old anime would have to be Ava.
Hmm.
Ava's just good. I like Shinji.
Oh, and Code Geass. I think that's an old one. Oh, and Death Note. That's pretty old. Right? Yeah.
Oh, true.
All right. For my old ones, yeah, definitely those. In fact, those are up there. I'm just trying to remember like pure enjoyment factor, and that pure enjoyment factor, like some sports anime too, like you or Kuroko no
Thank you
Basket.
so much. A recent anime I watched was Bochi the Rock. And it's really good. Like it's another one of those things where it's just I love the fucking characters. I think characters are just the best part out of any show. Like some shows like Demon Slayer has good characters, but I also think you could argue that one of the reasons people watch it is just the animation. Like it's a really big reason. The animation is really good. some people dislike the animation. Like I've seen it. Like I'll delve like accidentally into like the anime Reddit, and then fucking people just fucking hate UFO Table just because I don't know. I don't know why, but yeah.
Hating on it.
Yeah.
How you know? Isn't it like Demon Slayer is like the peakest of animation? I haven't
don't
seen
know.
any
They had like
animation better.
infinite budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say it's really
Yeah.
good. I don't know if it's the peakest of animation. I think I prefer like it depends on also what you're looking for, right? Like some of the movies have really really beautiful visuals, like Wuthering with You, but like what? There's a difference between like beautiful and like action packed, right? Like some people think Fate Zero is animated better than Demon Slayer, and it's the same animation studio. So I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, like just please don't yell at me.
I
But
was
yeah,
screaming on that one fight scene, bro. That was so beautiful.
you mean
Which
episode
fight
19
scene?
of season 1?
Oh no, the new one. What was it
Oh,
called?
the
The
new
second
one.
one. It was like at the end with that green man. I don't know.
Green Man.
All I know is it
Are we
was
talking?
fire.
Wait,
Talking
what
about
anime
One
are we
Piece and
talking
stuff.
about?
Demon Slayer.
He's
The
talking about
and
the
then
Green
Fashion
Man?
Center, right?
Oh, Yutaro.
Oh,
Yutaro?
yeah,
I think
his
that's how you
name.
say his name.
Mm.
That was beautiful. That's how I got my dad into the show.
I was gonna
just
say it's
noticed
how I
that
got my
one clip.
dad. End sentence.
Mm.
So, how are those midnight Doritos?
Fine. I'm getting so unhealthy.
Caught me off guard. I haven't thought about anime in a while.
Nice.
Haven't.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't plan on watching any in the near future, but yeah,
I mean, you said you wanted to rewatch Angel Beats, right?
I did, but that's when I was very young, and I don't feel like I fully appreciated at the time, and now, well, I thought I could rewatch it because I thought I forgot all of it, but then I listened to the opening and I remembered the whole plot.
I see. Well, there are two shows
Yeah.
that came out this year that I think you like both of them. The one I was talking about, Bocchi the Rock, and Licorice Recoil, like because they're both. I know like the. I think I know the what kind of stuff you like, and I think you like both of them. Bocchi
Yeah,
the Rock.
the name sounds stupid though.
Every anime name sounds stupid.
I thought so too, but then I actually watched the first episode.
You see?
No. This
Whether
is
it was-
Joshua. Joshua. If I said the most normal name ever, he would have gone. That sounds stupid, Matthew. You're stupid.
What? Okay, what is a normal anime name though?
I don't know.
Yogetsu no bitches.
That was so uncalled for. Why are you doing that? Late?
Actual genuine question just turned into
No, I mean it's not even. No, I didn't mean it towards you. I just thought it was.
Nah, you're looking. I can't see your eyes, no, but I know you were looking right at me when you said that.
Okay. Um, get back on track. There's a question I was thinking about.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
What do you think are like the qualities that make a good friend? You know, like obviously, you know, you're not gonna look for them, or not all the time. You won't just look for them because you just befriend people. But like, what makes someone like what would make you define someone as a good friend, a good person? I guess.
If I wanted to like befriend someone, like what would I look for?
I suppose, but not necessarily just like if you want to befriend someone. I mean, like if someone's already a friend, what makes you think they're a good friend, or maybe what would make you want to be better friends with them because of a quality you see in them? Because I feel like we don't always pick the
Ah,
friends we make,
okay,
like right off
okay,
the bat, because you know you're usually put somewhere, and then you meet friends there. And what would make you want to pursue a closer friendship? Like, what do you think makes
right.
a good friend?
So what makes a good friend for me is how they act towards you, and how they what kind of efforts they make towards you and your relationship when you aren't useful to them in anything, or when you're at a low, and like are they still your friend? Like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that because that means that they're willing to work with you, and they want a mutual relationship with you, even if you know there's no like immediate benefit. Then I would look for that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. What do you
For
guys
me
think?
personally, A lot of people would say chemistry, but I definitely don't think so. Because although you can have chemistry with someone, that doesn't mean that person will stick by you. I've had many situations where that's been the case, but for me, I guess my hard iron rule of when I genuinely think someone is a good friend is if, even with the mistakes I make, if you can manage to stay by me and still support me and still be there for me in events that I do fail, in events that I do mess up, I will respect you like way more than anyone else. Because one, shows your character. Two, it's not one of those fake friendships. I mean, yeah, people will speak behind your back, but having someone stand by with you, or maybe it's just because I've just grown up that like people just like leave me, like for really dumb reasons too. Like, okay, I'm not gonna go into that, but yeah, but if you just can stand by someone, especially during their lows, heavily respected.
Yeah, and like they can say stuff behind your back, but when they say it to your face, you know,
Oh, I like it when you say it to my face.
That's true.
That's
yeah,
why
like
a lot
I'll say a bunch of stuff to
people.
Matthew's face.
I know, but it's very
Like what?
different with today's culture because it's so weird. Because people nowadays aren't very straightforward. Because like me, I'm a realist. So like, if I'm doing something shitty, like say it to my face, and I'll actually think about it. But other people, when you say it to them, instead of constructive criticism, they'll like take it to heart. You know, that's most people I've met so far. So that's why it's kind of like, especially me, I'm very blunt and straightforward. So like, I can offend people without meaning to offend people
Mm-hmm,
on accident.
mm-hmm.
I think an extension of what you're
Yeah.
saying, because I think sometimes I'm one of those people that you're describing, but it's because for me, right, a random person calls me worthless. I don't fucking care. I mean, this is an extreme, you know. I know you wouldn't say that, but if you were to call me worthless, then it would mean a lot more, you know. And it doesn't have to be just like something as extreme as that, but it's like for the people I care about most, he's dying.
My bad. I had a massive burp.
For the
Oh,
what the words I hear from the people I care about most, I think carry the most weight. Right, like when my mom says something mean about me, you know, it matters a lot more to me. Like when she's like, "Oh, I don't like your hair, I don't like the way you dress, or I don't like X or Y," and it hurts a lot more than if Lance were to say it. And comparatively, if some random person said that shit, it would hurt a lot less than if Lance were to say it. You know,
tell him.
I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like looking for like qualities in friends, I think for me, I just prioritize like what Lance was saying and what Joshua was saying. Just like if they don't gain anything by being with you, right? Are they still there? I think that matters a lot, and the effort that they put in matters, right? Because you'll see some people really genuinely care when you're down, and some people will help you without asking, and some people will help you after you ask. And I think there's a big difference in those people, how much they could care about you. Yeah.
Um,
How about you, Ken?
I guess for me, it's kind of like what you guys were describing. I feel I heard from you guys. It's kind of having like this unconditional love present
That's right.
with your friendship. Because I know no one's perfect in this life. I know there's like things that you do with your friends that's like really cool, but then there's like some moments where they do something and you think, "Oh, that was kind of dumb as shit. Why did they do that?" That kind of annoyed me. But even if they do have their mishap, and if they make mistakes that were completely avoidable at times, you still love them because you don't really look at their flaws. Because I feel for someone to really truly love someone despite their flaws, Kevin Hart's back. Um, you kind of just realize that you have flaws in yourself. You yourself are not realize that, and you kind of apply that same rule to. Yeah, like I'm not completely perfect myself, and my friends aren't the same, but still, I love them. And um, I think still another thing that is important is kind of just it's honesty. It's kind of Lance's point, because in terms of honesty, I totally get the whole thing where like it's in this day and age it's hard to be straightforward, especially in an age where people are expected to receive good comments on, like when homegirl posts a post, she pretty much expects like, oh, people happy to know like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty, and then yeah, it's just so slay is like, oh my gosh, marry me. Like we kind of live in a day and age where we expect that, and when that one comment of like constructive criticism comes, it's like, uh-oh, pitchforks are out. You're burning on the stake now. Uh-oh. And yeah, I feel it's kind of just we've gotten too conditioned of trying to affirm ourselves all of the time instead of trying to uplift ourselves, kind of like tough love. Because like there'll be times where like we do something wrong, but we don't say it because it might hurt the other person. But something that I kind of stand by is if you're willing to kind of hold back from your thoughts, being honest with the person, just know that not letting them know of what they're doing wrong will only hurt them more in the long run. That's kind of just
Beautifully stated.
I agree. You know, it's like I have dumb shit that I do, and Joshua and Lance will spare no energy calling me an idiot and telling me to
Yeah,
work.
fuck you.
It's like, hey guys, I picked up this really bad habit, and then you know, both of them were just like, hey, stop that, that's not good, and then they just they don't drop it, which is good. You know, it's signs that they care, that they're genuine, you know, good people. I haven't dropped it, unfortunately, but you know,
Because you're a bitch.
because I am a bitch. I can be your bitch.
Maybe I am.
Speaking of making people your bitches, what do you think would be the perfect first date to go on with someone?
ooh.
Like,
I know Joshua got a spicy answer.
Oh,
Josh has a spicy
And
answer.
oh, he definitely got an answer on this one.
Like, what do you think? Like when
Don't.
you're like, oh shit, this girl, I like her a lot, right? I want her to know like about me. I want her to know what I like. I want to show her the time of her life. Where do you take her?
Um, I'm gonna assume that you don't know anything about it, because otherwise it would depend on the girl.
Yeah, I know it would depend on the
But
girl. Let's just say she wanted you to
okay.
show her your favorite places. Like and obviously you'd still have to think, oh, I want to take a person here, right? But like, what would be your place? Like for me, I have ideas of places I want to take. I would take someone, right? It's like, what do you think? What would you do?
It's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Hello?
Hmm.
Okay, he's back.
I don't know. That's hard. I mean, like, I don't get bitches either, guys. I don't.
There's no.
Oh, you are way.
But hypothetically, if you were to get one, what would you do?
Yeah.
If I were to, I guess my first thought is to go somewhere like quiet and like something simple, something that's like maybe even boring, like regularly, just to like isolate us, just to like spend time with purely us, you know, not like distract from one another.
So, like, you mean
My first thought.
business? So,
Okay,
like,
not like
you know,
that.
you get straight to it. I mean, the way you're describing it, it's like you're saying you're gonna
No,
get
no.
straight to it.
Trying to find somewhere
No,
discreet.
like maybe a park or something like that. Yeah,
You know,
just something that may even like something that's simple and not where you don't really do anything other than just talk
Get to know each
and
other.
spend time together. Yeah,
yeah, I think
and
you're
not like
taking the
not
wrong.
like I wouldn't prefer like going somewhere that like takes a lot of energy and takes a lot of attention away from each other. But that's just what I would think. Yeah. Like my preference.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I think Lance, I think the business you're talking
I
about
know,
is
I know,
just
I
the
know.
wrong
I was
one.
just messing around. Yeah, I know. I was messing around.
I agree. For me, I have a specific place. Me and Lance, we've been there a bunch of times. It's the just the Shoreline Village. It's just a really beautiful place to just walk around and talk. Uh, yeah, like I have a favorite place to sit on the dock and just think about life there. And I think it's especially in the later hours of the day, closer to sunset, it's really pretty. So, like Joshua was saying, it's just a place where there's not much to do other than look around. So you'll just end up spending time with each other, taking in each other's personality, learning about each other. But I like the ocean, and so that's like my safe space too. So then it'd just be nice. It will be nice.
Yeah. It will be nice. Wow.
It must be nice.
Oh, fuck! You cut that out,
Oh.
Kennedy.
No, that's the same thing. It's the same thing.
No, but the line.
It will be and it must be.
It will be nice.
You, oh boy.
What about you
Boy,
guys?
me personally, I like. It's very similar to you. I don't really have a designated place. Park could be one of them. As long as I get to know
I'd like to
them.
piggyback off that.
Let's shut up. Let's
I mean, he literally.
pull your camera up higher. Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Was
I would
it
like to
too
agree
low?
with that statement.
No,
I'd like
because
to add on
you
to that
kind
one.
of just laid it like good as it is already. Yeah, he kind of just his opinion is the same as mine.
Mm.
As long as it's a place where you can learn about them and not really focus on other things. For example, movies. A lot of people like movies, but like you're not learning about them. You're learning about the movie, right? So like it's not as long as it's a place where you can learn them. It can be any place, even if it's just like a basic attraction, even a carnival too. You can learn, I guess, how they treat people based on how they talk to the clerks there. How I don't know what makes them happy, what makes them laugh, how their humor is based on different situations. Oh wow! So actually, Dad, my place would be like a carnival then. A
Nice.
great place to learn something.
I feel like the other equivalent to that is like something like Disneyland, right? Just because the 2 hour long lines, that's a lot of time to talk.
That
Oh
is
yeah,
a good.
Spend 2 hours
Disneyland.
looking at
I
your
would go
phone.
to I would go to Disneyland to not pay attention to her and just wave my lightsaber around.
I remember back in the day, when me and Joshua would go to Peck Park like almost every day for the freshman summer, and I remember for like a small part of it, we would sit in front of the place where Philip worked, and then me and him would be trying to
His
beat my
mom.
Cloud Amiibo. The place was called, and me and him were trying our best to beat my Chrome Amiibo, and then he got an Inkling Amiibo, and then like I don't remember which one was stronger. Do you remember?
I don't know.
What are we
I
talking
mean, I
about?
don't think we did
Pokemon?
much with it. We're talking about Smash.
Oh, Smash!
Super
I got
Smash
my
Bros.
ass clapped every match. I
Yeah,
got so mad I almost threw my Switch.
what the fuck?
Oh, do you
All
still
right.
play
Well,
it?
me?
Yeah. I know you're like a
No. I have
hardcore
Matthew's
gamer.
Switch.
He has my Switch.
No, I stopped playing.
Oh yeah, because
Or, yeah, I don't play it.
Switch.
You had my Switch for 2 years.
2 fucking years.
That was
I forgot
crazy.
about that. I
How
forgot
was that?
It was so long that I forgot I had a Switch.
I think the funniest part was when Kennedy finally asked me for it back. He was like, it wasn't even, hey, can I have my Switch back? It's my parents are wondering where my Switch is.
Yeah, cause okay. Here, let me explain the story to that. Cause I'm just chilling one day, and then like my parents got in the mood to play some Mario Kart, but then they're like, where's the Switch? So the first person they go to is me, and
right?
they approach me and they're like, yo son, where's the Switch? And I'm kind of like my balls are sweating in this moment because I'm like, I can't tell them I gave it to Joshua for 2 years and it's not in the house. And so I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta tell them. So I was like straight up. I didn't say your name. I was just saying like, I let a friend borrow it for a little while, and he kind of has it. And then they're like, "We'll get it back," and I was like, okay."
Okay, so they weren't upset, were they?
Not really, but they really wanted to play Mario for like for like the whole. It wasn't for like a month. It was for like the whole week. They're like, "Where's the Switch? Where's the Switch? You want to play like Mario Kart, Mario Party, all that?" And then I was like, okay, I'll go get it. I'll go get it. And then that's when we finally met, and I actually got it from you.
Right. When did you get it? Wasn't it during what, like during quarantine?
Yeah, I believe so.
Did you eventually tell them that he had it for 2 years? No.
I just said he had it.
That's
I said he just had it for a while. So like, so
Emphasis on a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't specify how long. I just said, oh yeah, he had it for a while. And then I guess for that whole time that Joshua had it, they thought I was just playing it in my room. And then I recently gave it to Josh, but that wasn't the case.
Are any of does your family watch this? Any of them?
My brother watches this.
He's gonna
Don't tell mom. Don't tell mom if you do hear
How
this.
do you know?
or
it's over.
It's our inside
tell
joke.
you guys this-
Our inside joke.
tell you guys this- did he know about it before this?
Oh no, my brother had like no idea about like the whole Switch situation.
Well, he does now.
But he's gonna know now. But
I just so I was thinking about this, right? A bit deeper of a question. We've been kind of on some, I guess, surface level questions, right? But you know,
How deep?
dish.
Oh.
How deep?
Dish.
Ladies, man.
So like when you wake up every day, what is the driving force that gets you to get out of bed? You know, what keeps you from staying there scrolling on your phone? What is that thing that happens to make you be like, okay, I have to get up? Whether that happens as soon as you wake up or 10 minutes after you wake up or an hour, you know, what makes you get up out of bed?
funny. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's not the real answer.
That's Zaza.
That's all. Oh, I felt
True that. You gotta get a fat hit.
What makes me get out of bed? Driving force to, I guess, the driving force to just get me out of bed. I'm gonna say the driving force that gets me out of bed and just gets me going throughout the day is the idea that I I only have today. I can only live one day at a time, and in life I do want really great things, but those are lagging measures of what I do every day. So the most I can do to get there is to get out of bed, make my bed, make breakfast, and just do those little things. Like that's the most that I can do, and it's significant. I only have today. I can only live one day at a time. So live that day.
For me, what gets me out of bed, I think it's similar. Like there's overlap there, but for me, it's instead of looking forward, it's looking back. Right, every day I want to be better than I was yesterday. Like that's how I look at it. That forward improvement. For me, every day, you know, when I'm getting out of bed, I'm like, okay, man, come on, you can't work hard if you're still in bed. So you have to get up. You have to do your routine. You have to do all these things in order to be better than I was yesterday. And you know, even if I do the exact same thing, as long as I wasn't worse than yesterday, as long as I'm putting forth effort, as long as I'm trying, then that's okay. But what gets me out of bed is just the idea that if I don't get out of bed, then I can't improve. I can't grow.
Vanity? Oh wait, never mind. I was
What?
gonna. No. I was gonna.
Oh, yeah, actually,
What is that?
Atomic Habits.
It's what?
Atomic Habits.
Wait, what?
Good book.
No, but what is it for? Like.
Atomic Habits. It's a really good book. Basically, it's kind of like gives like a what habits are. Gives you kind of like a perspective. What is it that makes people build good habits? What is it makes people prolong bad? I really like the book. There's like a chapter. I think it's chapter, and it talks about that what gets us to repeat our habits. It's kind of like a belief, or in other words, it's kind of like you identify your,
Sorry.
and it's kind of like
Our habits and what we do every day.
yeah,
Sorry.
and
It's how we embody ourselves.
mhm. And it's kind of like if you identify yourself with a certain habit, you're most like gonna constantly. So let's say for example, it gave a good example. I'll tell you again. So there's person A, person B, and person A. Well, both people are trying to quit smoking, but person A puts into work.
I know this one.
IRL too.
Yeah. So person A says, "Oh, don't give me the cigarette. I'm trying to quit." Okay, sounds good, but the thing is that they're still associated with smoking because
They still believe.
yeah, they still believe that they're smoker and they're just quitting and they're just like taking like a break. And then person B, however, puts it in a much different way, but it's much more powerful. He says, "Oh, I don't want to smoke. That's not me anymore." And what makes this different is that they no longer associate themselves with this habit. Because when you kind of align yourself that you're kind of a prisoner to these habits that you're trying to like break out of, you will only prolong it for like a little while and then it will come back again because they'll associate yourself. Whereas if you actually separate yourself from the habit and not only separate yourself, not kind of like gaslighting. Oh, okay, anymore. It's kind of like you give yourself small wins as proof that this is no longer you. You know, say like I no longer associate myself with sleeping late, which hypocritically we're filming this at not accurate to us, but basically you say something like, "Oh, I no longer associate myself with sleeping late," and the evidence that proves that is you actually, "Oh, I actually fall asleep around like 9:30 and I wake up around," so I actually, instead of staying up till like 3 and then waking up 1 p.m. But yeah,
Basically, it's like the most fundamental change we can make is to change who we are.
yep.
So if I was trying to have a better sleep schedule, you can change it for the sake of changing the outcome, getting better sleep. Or you can go a deeper level and change the systems for, getting better sleep, like setting a routine, setting alarms. Or third and deepest level is to change who you are. Say, change your beliefs and say, I am a person who gets good sleep.
Mhm.
And when you believe that, when you set your goal towards changing who you are and not just the outcome, then the outcomes will follow. And that's how you get it to stick, is by changing who you are. Yeah.
I don't have much to add on to because I'm not really good at this. I mean, Joshua knows about this. I kind of fall prey to my own bad habits.
It's a good book. It's a good book. You should definitely give it a read.
I'm probably not gonna buy it. I mean, if you want to lend it to me, I will read it. But I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Ken? What's your thing that gets you up?
Um, I'm glad that Joshua mentioned that. There's something else from that stood out to me.
Hmm.
It's I believe it's the 32 degrees Fahrenheit, like the melting point for an
Oh.
ice cube. That is something that stood out to me. And actually, it's kind of funny because I heard about this book from all YouTubers, Jayshla. And
Really?
yeah, because he has his channel called The Weekly, and I kind of found it recently, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this was us. And he mentioned Atomic Habits, and he mentioned this example, um, 32 degrees, something like that, being the melting point for an. But the importance of this example is supposed to represent like us reaching that point in our lives that we've done the thing that wanted it. And it starts off um like when we start something, we start somewhere around like freezing point. I know it's different for other people. Some people have reached, for most people, start at freezing. And at
Freezing
first,
point of the ice cube.
yeah, freezing point of the ice cube. And the ice cube is kind of like represent kind of like a embodiment of like their goals, and then when it finally melts. And at first, it doesn't seem like when we put like effort into something, it goes up a degree, and it doesn't seem like you're not doing much, and you kind of like think like, I feel like I'm not really gonna reach my potential, not really contributing to anything. But the thing is that when you put constant and consistent effort and time into something, you're not just putting a singular degree, it accumulates on you. And eventually, at some point, you will reach that melting point where you start seeing ice cube melt. And then I'm actually seeing progress. And I'm actually seeing that I'm actually going somewhere. And I feel for kind of like that ice, because something that I have big fear of, kind of just in my life in general, living a life of unfulfilled potential. And I feel a lot of people are very capable of doing great things, but the biggest thing that holds them back from ever doing that is kind of that belief that I'm not really gonna do much. It's gonna be another speck in this green floating, green and blue floating, and in the middle, no. I'm just another human, just to live and die, and then people are gonna forget. Um, I fear that that's gonna be the summation of my life. And something that kind of like pushes me is kind of like constantly trying to do better, because I've went through an experience that's kind of like where I was kind of rock, and I understood the kind of that feeling of just being still and just doing nothing, and just allowing yourself to kind of just get much more colder, and but you just stay frozen, not contributing to anything, not trying to do better for yourself. But at some point, I kind of realized that it's not worth living a life of just um holding yourself from fulfilling that. I know some people are kind of like, oh, but how do I fulfill my potential? Good things I can do. The best thing that you can do is try. And I feel people are scared of just falling down. Everyone's pointing fingers like, oh, look at this fucking loser, you fell down. Or basic being just try for you. And that's something that I try to do. And not only that, understand that some people go through. I kind of want to be uplifting force, because I find fulfillment in that. For me, I find joy in kind of like encouraging others. Like when I see someone having a crappy day and I do something that actually gets a smile out of them, that's what makes me happy. Stuff like that. Like if I have like a friend that is like going through like some shit with like what is like or like whatever like very minor problems that seem like very major to them in the moment. I kind of want to be there for them because
Yeah.
I feel the worst sight that you can ever see is like seeing someone hurting and knowing that they're trying to hide it, and you just kind of being there like with the decision: should I try to make their day or should I just let them live in that pain? Which, of course, for me, I would rather help them the best. But yeah, that's kind of something that gets me up in the doing something, knowing that generally be a good influence, and also for fun.
All we're missing is Miss Cole.
True.
Is it okay if I add on to that just a little bit? Yeah. So obviously I don't want this to be a Socratic seminar about Atomic Habits, even though it is a good book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do really like Kennedy's example. There was another example that's basically the same. It's you're trying say there's a rock in front of you and you're trying to split it open. That represents split it in half. That represents the goal in your life. Okay, and you see a skilled stoneworker and he's hammering at it with a hammer and chisel, and he hits it 50 times and it does nothing, you know. And then on the 51st hit, it splits open. It's not the 51st hit that split it open. It was all the hits before that. And so progress is stored the same way. You can go up a degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees from freezing point, and you won't see the ice cube melt, but it wasn't the 32nd degree that melted it. It was all the degrees before that. And so that's what gets me out of bed in the morning is, you know, if I could split open this rock in one hit, I would, but I can't. I can only hit it once, one time at a time. I can only live life one day at a time, and it's still just as important. So I want to go up and I want to hit the rock, even if it's just once. And keep
Nice
going.
input. Okay, so I have to go D2 now. Okay. But Matthew, this might be a little bit of an answer. And you asked me before about what keeps me going.
Yeah.
I mean, to put it broadly, I have a dream, but it's not the dream that pushes me through, but it's the idea that I refuse to be the reason why I don't achieve that dream. I refuse to not try my best. I refuse to be the failure. I refuse to do that. I want to live a life where when I look back, or anytime I die, at any moment in my life, that I look back and be proud of myself. I don't want to be one of those people that grow up and grow old and be like, oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I could have done this at this moment. I refuse to do that. You only live once, so might as well live it to the fullest. You know? So when I hear people saying they regret things, I've seen someone die with regrets. And I know that I don't want to be one of those people. Right. So I will do everything to achieve what I want. And if it sacrifices something, yes, but I refuse to be the reason why I fail. That's just how to put it. I go by a saying, the only person that can really cause you to fail is you. So it's either you strengthen yourself or you're screwed. Because, I mean, you live in a tough world. No one's going to baby you around. I mean, maybe when you were younger now, but not anymore. You have to push yourself through. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
So,
I to add on to that, I agree. You are your greatest enemy. No, you're the only one stopping yourself, but you're also your greatest and sometimes your only ally. And so much like in life, everything is a duality. And so it's important to view yourself in both lights, to see the whole picture, not just to see yourself as an enemy, but to see yourself as someone you got to help someone who is helping you.
Mhm.
too.
And what I was gonna say, Lance, you said you are the only person that will cause yourself to fail. I actually
I
think
re-
huh?
no, I don't want to be the reason why to fail. I mean,
Okay,
there's
yes,
other factors too,
sorry,
but
yeah, you don't want to be the reason why you fail, right? However, or no. I think your exact phrasing was something along the lines of you are the only one that can cause yourself to fail. And I think a better wording for that would be you're the only person who can let yourself fail, because other people can cause you to fail, other things can cause you to fail, but as long as you don't let yourself fail, as long as you what
I choked on water.
as
Oh, my
long as
bad.
you aren't like letting yourself fail, as long as you're not just taking it lying down, I think that's the difference. I think that wording that matters to me there, because one of them is
Yeah, my
like
bad.
no, I know. But one of them is like you are the only person who will stab yourself, or you are the only person who can stop that knife. Because I feel like if you aren't taking control of your life, you're probably gonna fail. That knife will come at you and you won't stop it. But I don't think you're causing that knife to come at you. I think you're letting it come at you. If that makes sense.
Mm.
And you are the only person who can sidestep it, who can block it, whatever. You're the only one who can do that. Yeah.
Harry, get
To
you.
to finish off that topic, the question was what gets me out of bed, and it's really just putting value, putting significance in my day, knowing that that's all that
Fuck is
I've got,
Lance doing?
and
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you.
Oh,
like
sorry, no, my bad, my
to
bad.
to a lot of people, hitting the rock once and trying to split it open, hitting it once, it's meaningless to them, and it's really important for me to recognize and acknowledge the meaning that hitting the rock once will do, even if it's just once, even if it's only one step. That step is just as important. And so when I wake up, I always remind myself, how important today is, and then I take one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I have a question I wanted to ask after you bring up the rock thing multiple times. Right? That is true, right? With most things, you're not going to see immediate progress. Uh,
Second guest of the night?
Your dad input.
That is his dad.
Okay. Want him to be like, that's my brother.
Did he say that?
What did he say?
That was the most Texas accent I ever heard.
Texas?
That
Texas?
sounds Texas.
That's the most
Texas?
Texas?
Texas.
Okay, I had a point. He definitely ruined, but he just appeared. And he just fucking. Anyways, what I'm saying is with the rock.
Partner.
With the rock.
Hmm.
Sometimes you'll hit it thousands of times and nothing will happen. Do you think that sometimes you should give up? Like, is there a point, when sometimes you should move on, you should give up because that rock isn't breaking, Like, yeah, 51, like you're saying, you hit it 50 times, the 51st one is the one that breaks it, but all 51 matter equally, right? What if you've been hitting that rock for maybe 10 years, 15 years already, and you're not making progress? You're hit. You've hit that rock 72,000 times and it hasn't broken. What do
Yep.
you do?
Ask
Um.
yourself why you hit the rock in the first place.
Yeah. So in life, you will fail. It's inevitable. But failure gives you two options. Are you gonna stay down, or are you gonna get back up? And I one of the first steps I've taken, because I felt like I've hit rock bottom plenty of times. One of the steps I've taken, one of the lessons from habits that I've made is I am not a person who gives up. I am a person who will always try their best to live the happiest life that they can over not living, over giving up, and so, you know, um, it's either I fail or I keep trying, and I will always choose to keep trying. And I truly believe that nothing is impossible to those who try. I like to think about it like this. If you were 30 failures away from living your dream life, being a millionaire, etc., how eager would you be to get those failures?
I
I
know what
don't
you mean.
view failure. I don't view failure as, an obstacle, but as a stepping stone, part of the road. And I would rather lift how difficult it is rather than put it down and give up. And 1,000 times is a long time, yeah, but I don't believe that I don't believe that I can't crack open the rock if I keep trying. I feel like I believe that the only way this rock won't open is because I stopped hitting it. Not because it's uncrackable, because I stopped hitting it. And yeah, then adding on to that, I would think, maybe it's not the rock. Maybe I have to get better tools. Maybe I have to get stronger, put more value into these hits, etc. Maybe this isn't the problem if I'm doing this great. Maybe there's something else. I sometimes sometimes you'll think like, or like maybe you fail a test, and like you understood it, but you still failed. Maybe it's maybe what you're doing right, like you're the things that you're doing right. You think you wouldn't think, oh, that's not enough. You'd think, oh, maybe there's something else that I have to work on. So I would build off of that. But to answer your question, I feel like the only way the rock wouldn't crack open is if I.
Like what we were talking about.
Mhm.
Also, there are people who have chased their dreams, tried as hard as they could for their entire lives and not achieved it. Would you think that even if you'll never achieve it, you should just keep chasing it? Because I know, like, I mean, I know that some people will say that them chasing that dream was fulfillment in their lives, even if they never got it. Um,
Mhm.
it's not always about the destination; it's about the journey, and even if that journey never ends, is it still worth it to go through that journey if there will never be a destination? If if you will go 80 years trying to get into the admin, 40 years trying to get into the acting industry, and it just doesn't work, right? Like it just never works, and you keep doing that forever and ever until you die, and you never achieve your dream. Is it still worth it to you?
To me, yeah. I mean, I have two things to say to that, and that's, you can either regret not trying, or you can try. You can either suffer the pain of regret or the pain of discipline, and I'd rather do that. And that reminds me of a saying, that you should always shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars.
Mhm.
I mean, The Rock wanted to be a football player. That didn't happen, but now he's an actor, and he's very successful, and he's happy. The point is, life is chaos, and life is bright, and life is unpredictable, and you can't control a lot of things. But you know, that doesn't mean that you can't be happy if you keep trying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is very worth.
Fair.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about you, Lance? I didn't even have a question. I just I'm just looking at you. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm the only one who's answering.
think
Well,
I think we're just gonna leave it right where Josh said it there.
I agree.
Um.
I'd like to piggyback off
Yeah, piggybacking off yourself.
You know,
I'd like to agree with that one.
yeah, that was very good,
Objection.
very insightful.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that was beautiful.
This is like half the. Every time, if me and Joshua are on call until like 3 a.m., it always turns into some shit like this.
Very philosophical.
Hmm. Very interesting.
Called the deep dish podcast, but like let's get back to the sauce on top. Like where the cheese at the bottom. Like
What are your thoughts on someone who's afraid to let someone back in, or to let people back in after pain?
Oh,
so like after like say you cut someone off because like they did you wrong, something like that.
No, just pain in general. Maybe not someone they've done wrong, but you just in the whole exchange, it wasn't really their fault. Let's just say you were a fault, right? And you feel guilty. Yeah, this is very special pertaining to me. Let's say you made a mistake and you know you made a mistake and you know you made like hurt someone about it, right? And now you afraid of let someone back into that same zone because you're afraid of hurting uh them again or someone again. What are your thoughts on
Oh,
that?
so you as the quote unquote wrongdoer are worried of getting back into their life because you're afraid you'll hurt them
No,
again.
not them specifically. Into another life, letting another person because you're afraid the same scenario might happen. Yes, growth, but fear is still there.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Afraid that you'll hurt people.
It's an interesting scenario.
It is a very
Very specific.
Yeah.
very specific
Really,
thing.
I really think going back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Like that and what do you look for in a good friend? And we it really boiled down to unconditional love. And that's what I really think because in life um people people will hurt you, you know. People will hurt you and it really comes down to you asking yourself, um, are these people worth pain? Are they worth the work? Are they worth growing together with and being happy with? And so, um, you have to find the answers to those questions yourself. And, if that person answers no, then that's okay. That just means there are more people in life who are waiting for you and waiting to fill that space and you have yourself. Because, for all the intentions that you have to be a good person and to not hurt these people, at the end of the day, we're all flawed and we'll never be perfect. It just boils down to, for me, um, do you share that unconditional love, that agreement, that intent to work with me and stick with me and work with each other and, just develop and preserve this relationship? That's what it boils down to.
Basically, if it's worth it. Okay.
If they're worth the work, if they're worth the pain, and if they share the same intent, that same mutual intent as you, because at the end of the day, we're all flawed, and no matter how good our intentions are, no matter how hard we try, I mean, mistakes are inevitable, and people will hurt you. It just comes down to evaluating that situation and asking yourself, is it best? Do I really want this person in my life? Do I want to work with this person or no?
definitely.
You know,
Hmm.
It's beautiful.
same way you work with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
I don't know what situation you're going through, but if someone decides to drop you because you've hurt them, know that you know what I like to say to myself is that you did your best and you fully intended to treat them well, and if they dropped you, then there's nothing you can do about that other than keep going and knowing that only that space that they're leaving in your life is only room for something better, someone that will make you happier, either as a friend, a companion, a lover, etc. those people that you really want to stay. Not the people that, you know, will go through those lows with you and say, "Nah, I can't handle this." I mean, that's not what I want. I don't think that's what you want.
Yeah.
I would like to add onto that. Um, I'd like to say what Joshua said was very beautifully put. Just putting that out first. But I feel kind of just you bringing that up, Lance. I just want to tell you, forgive yourself. That's just something that you need to do like straight up. Because I understand the position of really messing up, really losing that person that you felt was like the very special person that would just be there to fulfill your dreams of like partnership, like relationships, stuff like that. I understand that. And when I lost that, I bashed myself very hard over it. And a lot of it was like, oh, it's completely my fault. I'm an idiot. I should have done better. Like a lot of it was just a lot of regret and a lot of anger and just kind of like like it just only got worse like over time because every single day I just constantly tell myself, you messed up this one chance. You messed it up and that person's gone now. Your life is worthless. Give up. Stuff like that. But it's not a good way of like living your life kind of just in that way of just constantly putting guilt and shame on yourself. You have to bring forgiveness. Of course, easier said than done because some people just really hate themselves a lot. And I understand that. Because for me, with like a situation that I went through, it took me nearly 2 years to finally forgive myself for certain situation with a specific person kind of ending the way that it did. And yeah, you just have to realize that what's done is done, but all you can really look at now is all the love that the friends that you still have still give you. Kind of like the things that your friend, like friends checking up, things like that. You have people who treat you like family still, and you can't hyperfixate yourself on one very specific person thinking that they are everything. Because guess what? They are only a small speck, a paragraph of your entire book of life. You can't fixate yourself on just a certain section of your life that's already finished. You have to look at all that you have now still. And I know for me, I struggle with kind of like instilling in that in myself because it's kind of just like sometimes some days I kind of like think about like past guilt, like dumb stuff that I did during high school, and I'm like, man, I should have done better. But at the same time, it's kind of like it's done. Like it's not like I'm gonna freaking Thanos with the time stone and like hold it, let me fix it. And you can't go back. You can't go back. You can't fast forward. But all you can really do is just live now. And
Yeah, you. Oh, sorry, continue.
yeah, just live now and just realize that even if you had that one loss that told on you very hardly, you still have so many W's in your life still. It's just up to you to realize it.
I just want to say
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. I instantly thought of Jimbei.
True, it's true. Okay.
When he was talking, I started
Okay.
because he started talking like this One Piece guy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't have possibly known then what you know now. You know,
That is true.
it's the very experience of messing up that, you know, gives you the opportunity to be better, teaches you. Because, you know, we want to be the best people that we can be. And, you know, but we lack experience. We lack the skills Um, and in trying to be the best people we can be, we will inevitably face those, areas where we're lacking. I mean, failure is inevitable. It's
Yeah.
it's not about, you know, what happened then. It's about what will happen now. What can I control? I can't control who I was back then, but I can now. I can control who I am now. I can learn from it.
Yeah. I just want to say.
Oh, sorry. Think of it like this: like wherever you messed up at that point in your life, you didn't mess up somehow. Well, that same mistake, and that same lesson will inevitably come to you at some other point in life because you know you need it. You need it to get to where you want to be. You need that failure.
Yeah.
I see now why Matthew puts you on such a high pedestal. I've always wondered why, but then the more I listen to you speak, I've been watching you this entire time. The way you speak, it's very, I don't know, like I've been analyzing him the entire time and the way he brings his thoughts into words, it's very sincere,
Yeah.
but it's also with purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not like just trying to convey words and make it make sense, but more of actually trying to deliver a point.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
That's I mean,
I'm taking
Well,
notes. I struggle with putting my thoughts into words, so I'm taking notes from you, my man.
Mm-hmm.
I see. This
Hey,
is
I relinquished
well,
my
I
title.
just, I just really, I want to help whatever you're going through.
Oh.
the key difference between the way me and Josh would talk, because there's a lot of overlap. I think you'll see in the he's way more he I think that the easiest way to put it, right, is when I'm saying something, you'll see me say something, stumble around it, and then get to the point. Whereas he is more likely to stop himself, think about it, and then say it. Even if we say the same things, the way that, and I don't know if we always say the same things, we have different opinions, but saying even during the times where we will have the exact same opinion about something, you'll see me like going like stuttering and pushing through it that way. Whereas he will take it slowly and then give you everything more like precisely, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I appreciate the compliment.
I learned by mimicking or watching. This is very interesting.
Mm.
Yeah,
I need to listen to Josh more.
True.
I mean, Lance, if you because Lance was asking me for help with the same thing because I'm good at
Yeah.
just putting my thoughts into words. But I think yeah, it would be better if you learn by mimicking. It'd be significantly better from Joshua than me because mine fits my personality. Like that is just who I am. I'm a very fast person, and it's fine if I stumble around. I will get to the point, right? It's like the same thing I do with coding, right? I will just brute force it until I'm right, and that whether that comes to speech, etc. Right, I will say the same thing. I will say it as many times as I have to get the point until I finally say the correct sequence of words. But uh, instead of that, Joshua tends to slowly think about it, right? Instead of brute forcing it, he'll think of it in his mind. Instead of writing every command and trying it, he'll think of all the commands in his head and be like, no, that won't work. So I shouldn't test it because I know it won't work. Kind of. It's not as simple as that. It's not as black and white as that. But yeah, I think that at the core, that's how I would perceive him and how I would perceive me. And if you look at it a different way, right? When I'm going through some shit, uh, Joshua tends to tell a lot of jokes, right, while I'm talking. And I mean, that's the nature of our friendship. It's fine. It's not like I think he devalues it or he doesn't value me, and that's why he's telling jokes. But the other thing is, while he's telling those jokes, he is thinking about what to fucking say. It's not the whole purpose. Obviously, he knows telling jokes will make me feel better. But there's another thing. If I'm laughing and he's telling jokes, that also gives him time to think about what the fuck he has to say. It's not always like that, whatever, but that is one of the things he does. That's just social shit.
Yeah, I figured. Uh, one second. Oh.
But
Oh yeah, but before I wanted to add on, I was kind of worried coming on because of the podcast because I figured you'd be asking deep questions up front, but yeah, a lot of these things that I'm telling you are things that I've learned and figured out and lived through because, a lot of the time, or more like all the time, life is life is chaos, but you give yourself time and you make your own meaning out of it. You create your own patterns out of it, and it becomes your life to live.
And
That's
Josh,
crazy. How this
Josh,
whole podcast started because I sent out a story of who's trying to start a podcast.
That's how it
happened because
started.
no, it started, yeah.
I watched a podcast
And
and I was
Lance,
like, you know what? I want to start it. And then I found people with the same idea.
I saw Lance's story, and he was like, "Oh, it's me and Kennedy," and I was like, "Bro, no offense, you and Kennedy are great people. I just don't think there's any sauce, because
That's
it's a pizza."
that's
That was
cool.
fucked.
Damn.
That's me.
No belief in us. Wow.
That's crazy. This man doubts us.
This was the sentence I said to you, and you were like, "Actually, yeah, that makes sense." You agreed
Said
with
that.
me.
You never said that.
I hate.
I, was,
No, he
you know,
doesn't
I
back
added
me
you
up.
on here because we had chemistry, and I was like, you know what? You said you. I remember exactly what you said that got
What did
me
I
into
say?
this.
Uh-oh,
You said,
podcast breaking up.
This is the chemistry podcast, and I was
Podcast
like, you know what? Yeah.
this
And I
band.
was like, let me add you in. And then
That's what.
boom, you were
Yeah,
added in.
that's what I meant.
No, that was such a bitchy way to put that. Wow.
How is it such a bitchy way to put that? No, it's like when you have a sandwich, right? Or it's like when you have a burger, right? You need good buns, you need good meat, and you need good condiments, you need good lettuce or whatever the fuck that is. You guys have good meat, you guys had good buns, but there was no cheese, there was no lettuce. That's what I meant. That's what I mean by you needed this chemistry, fucker.
And I'm like an optional ingredient that like some people will have, and then like it tastes good. There's some people like it, some people don't.
You know what I think is funny, right? Is the thing I'm using, right? There's this podcast that I listen to before called the Chuckle Sandwich Podcast, and it was the exact same thing. One of them was bread, one of them was like the mayo, one of them was the, and then every guest was their own ingredient. Yeah. Hey, if that came out as bitchier than I thought, that's not what I meant. I did not mean it that way. I did not mean you guys couldn't succeed without me. It was just like, you know what I mean? Like, like a pizza without the.
He didn't mean that you couldn't succeed without him, but he meant that you could not succeed without him.
I thought it'd be funnier if I was there. Like what was I trying to say? This is initially. I'll be transparent. My initial first thoughts when I heard it was Lance and Kennedy. I was like, they're gonna have good conversation, but it doesn't sound like it'll be like super funny. Like and I'm just fucking stupid, and I literally.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah.
Oh, we're not funny. Yeah.
He's comedic material.
I spent the entire last podcast just fucking showing you pictures of Kevin Hart.
No, the thing is, bro, I was listening on Spotify and I had no idea what the fuck was going on when the whole Kevin Hart. Who was there? I was talking too.
You're just it was just Matthew giggling out of nowhere.
All of a sudden, we were talking, and then all of a sudden, it just got quiet, and then we started giggling. He said us. Yes, I was so confused.
So sorry. This is. I will say, I think you guys can all agree. Like, if Josh was okay with it, maybe a future episode you can come back.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
I think whenever we want like a really deep episode, I think Joshua was great for that.
I think regulars would be good.
Yeah.
He's very boyfriend material.
True.
It's so weird to say it, but it's so true.
No homo though. No homo.
I know homo.
No homo, no.
Like plenty of homo.
Plenty of them. I'd fuck.
Homie. Yeah.
No. So homo.
Two different fronts.
On every member of the friend group's like, no, don't worry, we got you. And then the one guy's like, no, I'd fuck you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it was so scuffed that I made you guys wait so long. because I was busy. But it was a good conversation.
Mhm.
Kennedy seems
It's okay.
he looks tired. He's like, damn, I was supposed to sleep 30 minutes ago.
I know. I'm
No, it's okay. I'm like,
But then he told us he would have gone down the YouTube rabbit hole anyways.
yeah, I actually would have gotten nothing from YouTube. I probably would have learned like lore on like the most random topic just to never bring it up again.
True.
Arrogant too.
Shut the fuck up.
I like how this podcast is like littered with like random segments of like one of us making like a sound effect. Like you'd be like, oh yeah, it's a very good point, and then Lance would go like, "Arigato," and like out of nowhere.
when one of the members can be replaced by a soundboard, I don't think that's a great sign.
People roasted.
It's crazy.
Damn.
You can
That's
read
one third.
him in books.
That's one third.
I'd like to piggyback off that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Go blind or deaf.
I mean, would you rather
That's a good one. See, like, what are we doing? Would I go blind or deaf? That's a great question. Would I go blind or deaf?
I think that's like a
I would rather.
paragraph
I'd
response.
rather go deaf.
Really? Okay. Here's how I look at it. For me, the way I look at it, if you want to enjoy life, you go deaf. I mean, you rather enjoy love, right? If you had to pick between the two, if you had to enjoy the company of people and love, you choose to go blind, because but if you want to continue functioning in society, you want to keep doing stuff like that, you go deaf. Because for me personally, the way I view the world, right, sound, voice, and music, like those things are the most important, right? The sound of the waves, the sound of my loved ones, their voices, and music in general. That's I think what makes me happy the most, right? Joshua was summoning Jesus, bro.
No, it's
Something
sign
too.
language. I'm deaf.
It's like Doctor Strange shit. And like, psh, psh.
You know how much burden you are blind than deaf?
Yeah, no,
Like,
but
How much of a burden? What the? That was evil.
Another thing about a soundboard is it isn't controversial either.
for no reason.
No, wait, let me finish.
That's when low tier God for a sec.
Let me finish. All right. One thing I was saying, right, is you go blind, you go deaf. All that happiness, a lot of it's gone, right? Because you can have a lot
Anyway,
from looking at the world, right? Like there are beautiful things, beautiful people, etc. But my
Like boobs.
I don't like boobs. Yeah, as long as you can still feel the warmth of your people, of your person, of the people around you, and then you don't need to see them. You just need to hear them, because you spend a lot of the time with I suppose your significant other with your eyes closed. Surprisingly, your eyes will be closed, cuddling with them. You might not even be looking at them. You just need to feel them. You need to hear them. And the other thing is that I'm a musician. I fucking love music more than anything else, and
uh,
I would not go deaf. If I wanted to enjoy living life, I would not lose my hearing. I think that's
yeah.
the biggest things, right? I think the human voice and the sound of instruments, those are two of the things that I love most in the world.
What
if
if
I
you're
go blind,
cuffing a dude? And you think it's your wife.
Bro, I
And
still have a hand who can that I still feel.
But like, how do you know how hairy your wife is? If you oh, okay, okay.
Well, one has a cock and one doesn't.
One has a cock. And what do you mean? How can you feel how hairy your wife is when you can feel it? When you can feel it, but
You know,
hands with
you did.
rippers.
You know what I thought. You know what?
Actually, pure deafness. Like,
Hearing aids.
like pure
Oh,
deafness.
never mind.
No, not hearing aids is only takes so far, but there's actually like there was a new technology I completely forgot, but I read about it recently where even if
No, that's not the point. That's not related to the thing though. It's in this hypothetical. You have to go blind or go deaf.
like permanently without a
Yeah, like you live the rest of your life without one.
Oh,
The way I said
wait.
it,
How to, no, no, no. Uh, how, how to cure death? Don't they have like an experimental cure for that in Japan called
there's
Terima?
there's a mental cure in Japan for
No, no, no.
deafness.
For deafness, it's experimental. It's called Terima.
Dairy milk?
Terima.
Karima.
Have you heard of it? Yeah,
No.
carrying my dick in your mouth.
see what I felt and you felt. You fucking suck. Look at him. Look at his smile. He froze up. He just. Oh, look at this! Oh, he got. Oh my god, the crowd was
Oh my gosh! What the hell? It might be nice.
For the Spotify listeners, he walked out of he muted himself and slowly moved out of frame.
I'm glad I said nothing because I didn't even see that coming.
I saw it as soon as he said Karma. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, no. If I said Karima,
It wouldn't have worked. Oh, he's back.
Use a bitch.
Anyways, back to what I was saying. I feel like to enjoy life, for me, right? If I wanted to continue enjoying life, I would keep my hearing. But if I wanted to be a functioning member of society, like I wanted to keep doing things, because if you can draw, like if you can see, I can still drive, I can still write, I can still code, I can still do all of these things, right? I think it's function over happiness.
and if you're deaf, no, if you're blind, you can't see me go.
right? But like if I was right, because like
The only thing you would hear is you collapsing.
you think I wouldn't feel the punches?
Feel is my right hook on your jaw.
The only thing you'd feel is me just throwing a left hook out of nowhere. Hey guys, thank you for watching. This has been the Deep Dish Podcast. Thank you for listening. And thank you, Joshua, for being on today.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Joshua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out to Insta. Shout out to Insta.
Follow us at the Deeper Dish
Should be over there.
Instagram.
on Instagram. We should make a Twitter account.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make it,
Maybe.
and we'll make a Discord server that you guys can join if you want. Yeah.